Greetings, my obedient family members. I want to give you a story of what is happening in Imo State. I'm giving this account because of the so many distractions, conflicting stories that emanated on Twitter, and the position of some persons. First of all, I want to tell you who I am. I tell you my own side of the story that led to the conclusion of our position in Imo State. My name is Dr. Emeka Mandela. I'm a youth activist. I have been so for years before the Obidients movement kick-started. I ran for president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I collapsed a large number of youths and partially half of the entire NRM members into Peter Obi's party to support him to help the youths reclaim their country. We were already on a mandate to reclaim our country when we declared for president of Nigeria under the National Youth Force. We saw a Peter Obi and we said, maybe the old order, which we are calling for a total retirement, still has one person that might just refine Nigeria and hand over back to us. Peter Obi saw my clouds and saw the importance of the genuinity in our youth struggle. And he came in person to receive me into his party. And after then, I was announced as the chieftain of the party at the national level. We continued the struggle and we grew in numbers. There came a point where people who loved Peter Obi and did not want to be called members of Labour Party, because they also had friends in other political parties running for Senate, Reps, Assembly, they thought if they all answer Labour Party members, it would jeopardize their own interests in the party of their brothers and their friends who are running for other smaller offices in the country. Obedient movement was then born to accommodate everybody, irrespective of party, religion, or tribe, to join on the journey of reclaiming the Nigerian mandate for Nigerians. We saw in Peter Obi integrity. We saw in Peter Obi character. We saw in Peter Obi competence. We saw in Peter Obi consistency. And we saw in him genuity. He has been tested. We could verify, so we trusted him. Peter Obi is a role model to all Nigerian youths. There is no one of his generation that is likened unto him. Peter Obi is a movement. Peter Obi is not a political party. Peter Obi had the same integrity he had in Labour Party today when he was in APGA as governor of Anambra State. Labour Party did not give Peter Obi his integrity. Peter Obi, when he got dissatisfied with APGA, he moved his integrity to PDP. PDP did not give him his integrity. Peter Obi, when he was dissatisfied with PDP, he moved his integrity to Labour Party. Labour Party cannot take ownership of Peter Obi's integrity. Labour Party cannot take ownership of Peter Obi's character and what he stands for. Peter Obi only added value to Labour Party. Peter Obi remains a party man, and whichever party he is at the time, he is committed to uplifting the party. But we free Nigerians that believed in Peter Obi know that right inside the mind of Peter Obi, he wants us to look at every politician in this country and choose for ourselves that made us follow him. Peter Obi has told us, the Obidients, in an interview in Arise, that Labour Party are not the same with the Obidients. That the Obidients are not same with Labour Party. Peter Obi made it clear to the world that Obidients is not a political party, but it's people who saw him and like him for who he is. And Peter Obi made it clear that every Obidient have a choice to support whoever they think possess same quality. My dear Obidients, it's not about party. And Peter Obi has made us see so. A lot of Obidients in Benue supported the APC governorship candidate because he was a Catholic priest. It wasn't about party. It has never been about party. Obidients movement were a people majorly made up of youths like me and you. They came together to say, since we have already risen up to fight for our country, let us use the character in Peter Obi and give a faster push. We have no regrets of our outing of February. We have no regrets. We shall never have any regrets about it. If it happens again, that time is taken back, yes, I will lead the same crowd I led to stand and support Peter Obi. Many people call themselves Obidients. Some Obidients were only on Twitter. And when people laughed at us that we are just Twitter noisemakers, we challenged them by marching out to the streets to make ourselves physically present. Some people were obedient on the streets. Some were obedient on Twitter. Some were obedient on Facebook. Many were also obedient in the polls. But I, Dr. Mandela, if obedience in simple layman language means followers of Peter Obi, I challenge anyone to step out and tell me they followed Mr. Peter Obi more than I did. Physically. We didn't hide behind Twitter. We didn't hide behind our doors. We were not afraid to go even to the most integral part of the North to speak, campaign, and stand for Peter Obi. We wore obedience proudly on our chests. We unmasked ourselves and said to the world that we are obedient. We stood on stages and platforms with Peter Obi proudly without fear of evil. We did 1 million marches in Abuja, in Owerri, proudly that we are obedient. We've been there. We would always be there. And make no mistake to think that people like I will ever depart from Peter Obi. Peter Obi is a role model. And irrespective of his political affiliation, the youth still look up to him for his character and integrity. We do not care whichever party he might be in tomorrow or next. All we care is that integrity and character that he possessed. So my fellow young people, my youths, my colleagues, we who make measure of the Obidient family. People call me out for saying I'm no coordinator of the Obidients. Yes. Even if the Arise television might have used the word coordinator in error, But I'll tell you, without fear or favor, I'm not the founder of the Obedient movement. I never claimed to be the founder of the Obedient movement. I'm not the leader of the Obedient movement. I've never claimed to be the leader of the Obedient movement. But am I among the coordinators of Obedient movement? The answer is pure yes. If you think Obedient movement was without coordinators, then you lie. There are people that coordinated the street walks. There are persons that coordinated the musical trucks, the drinks, the activities, the timetables. It wasn't without coordination. Maybe you might not have known. Your job was to sit on Twitter and just retweet what we do in the physical. You are doing a good job. That was your own part. But please, never think that there's anything that happens in this world without coordination. I'm not ashamed to say that I was part of those that coordinated the Obedient movement around Nigeria. Yes, my name is Emeka Mandela. You can verify. The strategy do not lie. It's just a couple of months ago these activities happened. So we can't forget so soon. Am I a founding member? Of course I am. I never claimed possession of being the founder, but am I a founding member? Yes, I am. If the apostles that follow Christ, the first apostles to follow Christ, if they are founding members of the church we know today, then as someone who was one of the earliest persons to follow P2B when he came into Labour Party, I was the youngest presidential aspirant that collapsed the youthful structure across Nigeria, and I was the only one who P2B received in person. Prove me wrong if I'm wrong. There is no youth across Nigeria that P2B came in person to receive. I am one of the founding members of this movement. I led youths into the Labour Party. I led a mammoth crowd of followers of people who believed in the youthful agenda. And make no mistake, what we did, we would do again and again and again for what we believe in. Please, do not get us wrong when we come to Imo State and tell you what we've seen. Why I was touring around Nigeria with His Excellency Mr. P2B. We believe that Imo would be where people like I, who come from Imo State, we come back and make sure that we correct the wrongs that is in Imo State. But when we came back to Imo State, after our national outing, we started seeing decays in the party we believed in. It's so sad to let you know that we believed that the party our principal ran under was the hope of the youth, the hope of the masses. The party that did not give shishi to you and I. Quote me if I'm wrong. I toured around Nigeria without a kobo from anybody, anywhere. But like other Obidients, we did it out of our own selfless service and self-will to our fatherland, Nigeria. We did it because we wanted a change. And I can proudly say that the whole fund that we spent was personal. I traveled around the breadth across Nigeria without any support, but with the obedient mindset, because we know they collect shishi, we know they receive shishi, we know they give shishi. But Imo State disappointed us when the party we believed, liking themselves to be like all the other parties that we were condemning, when they started to sell their humanitarian fund for a whopping sum of 25 million naira. Obedience. That is not what we believe in. That is not why we rallied around. For a party we believed that should be the road map to a new Nigeria. Now, going into exploitation from citizens of Imo State. 25 million naira, a humanitarian fund, was sold to 15 people and above. And when we complained, they mocked us. When we say you're misrepresenting the Obidient family by selling such form exorbitant, this is not what we believe in. You didn't give us shishi to make you popular. So why are you collecting a huge sum of amounts from the citizens of the state that came out to give free vote to the man they believed in using your platform? This is not unprecedented of who we are as a younger generation looking for a new Nigeria. It took the intervention of Mr. Peace Obi himself to call them to order. After they've collected such amount of money, he asked them to reduce that amount of money. When we kept complaining and calling his attention, he answered as a wonderful and listening leader he is. And it was brought down to 15 million. Though too very high. But the worst of all is that the 10 million was never refunded to date. Obedience. We cannot sit in our home and allow people to take us as fools. This was a party where we believed that the son of a nobody can become a somebody. This is the party where we believe that nobody will be more Nigerian than anybody. Now I want Obidients to ask this big question. Can the son of a nobody buy a farm for humanitarian election at 25 million naira? We are not fools. They can sit down and call anybody, to be quick to call anybody a saboteur, a sellout. People like us followed from the front. We didn't hide our faces. We followed without any cover. We are the true Obidients. We are the true Obidients. We followed without a kobo. Some people sit in the office and are feeding fat while we're on the streets, on the roads, moving around, flying around with our head in money. Obedience like the doctors and medics. Use their hard-earned money, their salaries like mine, to do free medical outreach around this country. Monitored, observed. And people sit in the office to wait for a time to exploit the citizens of Imo State because they've taken the clout and believe that the obedient movement will support anybody they point finger at. Sorry, it's not persons like us. We're not sheep. We're lions. We lead, we don't follow. They didn't just break the house of obedience by making us feel that we are only opportunists looking for how to exploit innocent citizens of Imo State and extort them. But they went further to overlook the few quality citizens of Imo State that's paid through their nose to afford that 25 million. They looked at them, men of integrity. These men are out there crying. They would have been the swing that would have led the obedient outbursts to reclaim Imo. But when they overlooked such men of integrity and quality and went to give anybody they feel like, obedience are not blind. Obedience, we are not fools. If you don't give us anybody that looks exactly have exactly the qualities of character, integrity, competence, commitment, compassion, and someone who can tell us a verifiable story, we're not going to follow, because we are not sheep. Obedience. Imo State is a very peculiar state. Imo State has been marred with violence over the years. This state, a lot of youths have suffered brutalization, exploitation, extortion. They have been maimed, and some of them have gone to the grave because of insecurity. We want to fight for our state, like we fought for Nigeria. But the question is, do we have a P2B we can use to fight? The answer is no. No. And anybody that tells you yes, come and verify. P2B was a governor. We saw what he did. We could verify, and we trusted in him. Those who have our tickets, leave Twitter, look for them, ask of what they've done, go to their villages, ask about them, find out who they are, verify who they are. They won't feed us anybody and expect us to move like sheep. These persons came out from villages, they came out from local governments. Maybe we'll go and see what they do and what their people say about them. These persons have held public offices before. Maybe we'll go and see what they did with the public funds. Let us verify. P2B has given us all we need to verify before we move. Even if P2B comes to Imo State and raise the hand of someone as a party man, he's without blame. He's a party man. He's still a party man. And he told us, Obedience, you're not party people. Do your soul wish. Make your choice. Follow the words of your master if you think he is your leader. He's my leader, and I follow his words. And I follow his words as an obedient, that we should do our choice. He will do his one as a party man. I don't expect him to do otherwise. He's the flag bearer of Labour Party. He is still bearing the flag of that party. So he would act like a party man. But we are free Nigerians. And the Obedients have never and will never belong to any party. We do things out of our way. And that is what we are doing today. We say, as leaders, we're not going to allow any bloodletting in Imo State. We're not going to allow any bloodbath in Imo State. We're not going to allow our youths to stand and receive bullets for people that their character and integrity do not want it. We're not going to bring out our youth to the streets to fight to unseat the government for people that their character and their integrity do not want it. We will not lead Imo State to a bloodletting bet in the name of election to change government and put who? Go and verify their character. You tell me if when I say we might just be going from fry pan to fire, if I am lying. These people are all the same. They are all alike. So if we must change power in Imo, we must change power from what it is to someone that will verified to be 100% better. Someone that we know we can trust, that his integrity and character has spoken for him over the years in Imo State. This is our state. We know these people. We've seen them. They're not newcomers. They have been there in the system. They are part of those we are fighting against in Nigeria, saying we want the old generation to leave. And you give us an old generation man to come and recycle in Imo? No, we will not accept that. And that is why we say it is better we stand with the devil we know than an angel we do not know. Some of my comrades say the reign of Guy men should be over. And I say to them, all these guys are Guy men and want all their reigns to be over. The one sitting in the office right now has 4 years' reign to be over. But the Guy men that are jostling to come in will have 8 years' reign if they come in. Imo youths, we cannot afford another 8 years' reign of a Guy man. Governor Zodima will go back. We will support him to go back. Because we do not want to be misled into a fight that is not worth it. And we've told him, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodimma, that we're taking this honorable path to avert unnecessary violence, because this is the youths. It is we that will be used by these people as their talks. It is we that will be brainwashed to go and do their dirty dealings. They will not bring their sons. They will not bring their sons to be in the front. And we say no. Our youths will not be used as willing tools to create violence, anarchy, in the name of a governor must be sat out of office. To put who? Who, I ask? All the governor owes as youths of this state are two things. And I say this to him any day, any time, and I say it to the press any day, any time. And what the governor owes us, as we stand as a bridge to avert any calamity, is to make sure that the insecurity in this state against the youths must come to an end. That in his next 4 years, the insecurity against the youth in this state must come to an end. That the police harassment, brutality, extortion, exploitation, and intimidation must come to an end in his next 4 years. We can no longer allow the security forces that should be protecting lives and property be part of a system where lives and properties are endangered. The governor in his next 4 years must pay attention to details, must separate the wolves from the sheep, must separate the non-state actors from innocent youths in this state. The issue of reprisal attacks and burning down properties, the government must stand as a bridge. The governor in his next 4 years, as we are giving him, must stand as a bridge to now see Imo and Imo youths as his children and he as our father. Anybody who unjustly brutalizes the youths must pay for it. Our governor, you now coming to be our father in your next 4 years, must hold the police and any form of security apparatus in this state responsible for any innocent soul that dies. This we do in our honor to stand with you in your re-election bid. And as youth advocates that clamored for a new Nigeria where the old generation will hand power over to the younger generation, where there will be a power shift, a paradigm shift from the old order to a new order, we say to you, youthful inclusion in your government. More youthful inclusion in your next administration. We want to see young commissioners below 40 years. We want to see young SAs, board chairmen below 40 years. Use the youths. We are not only used for toggery, but we have an administrative acumen. We have doctors, lawyers, engineers, well-read graduates that can be used in the administration of governance in this state. Open your doors for youths to come in. And when God gives you life to exhaust your next 4 years, we say you should hand over to a youth let Nigeria hear that Imo gave birth to the beginning of the struggle of a new Nigeria, where the younger generation shall collect power, ingenuity, truthfulness, and represent the youth tribe. We are obediently hopeful for a better Imo. God bless you.